What's good everyone, it's Smudger here. Let's talk ISO 45, gold camo, platinum camo, polyatomic, the whole lot. It's a pretty middle of the range SMG, quite a bit of recoil on it. I would say that if you're not too bothered about when you unlock gold or any of the other camos and you're more concerned about how you're going to do that, wait until shipment is back. Currently there's no shipment. It is the 2 new maps for Season 4. It is of course completely doable, especially because 10v10 is in the quick play rotation or quick play filters. So if you're not too bothered, wait for shipment. Otherwise, this is mostly what I ran with the exception of the long shots, at which point I used the longest barrel, which I think is the 16, yeah. That does block your muzzle as well, but it didn't really make much difference. I used an optic anyway when I was doing the long shots, so it didn't really matter, it balanced out. But for the most part, this is what I used. There's quite a few builds going out and about. I prefer the 45 round drum. I know not everyone does, but personally I felt like I was running out of ammo too fast, especially if you're playing something like 10v10. But getting into the camo challenges themselves, you're kicking it off with 50 kills like always, nothing to worry about. Then you have 40 kills while aiming down sights. Again, should be nothing to worry about, just aim down your sights. Then you have 30 point blank kills. I think this is where shipment would really come in handy if it was available. Otherwise, I did it in 10v10. Tarak is actually a deceptively good map for this, despite its size in 10v10. If you can get into those middle buildings and just essentially wait for people to run into you, round a corner, in a doorway, it's a really easy way to get it done. But of course, something like shipment would be the preferable way. It just doesn't exist in the game as of right now. And then you have 20 kills from behind. I prefer 10v10 for this than any other game mode. It's just a little bit more chaotic. The spawns tend to get a little bit more skewed. You're more likely to spawn in behind enemies as well, which helps. And because there's so many more people about, just the general chances of you finding people with their backs to you is a lot higher. It really wasn't too bad. I think it's just because it's the last challenge, it can be a bit annoying to try and complete. Moving on to the gold camo challenge, you have 3 kills without dying 10 times. Again, pretty standard stuff. We've seen this challenge an awful lot. I did this mostly in Showdown actually. You could do it in 10v10 if you got some of the bigger maps, I suppose. You don't want something like shipment in 10v10 because I had that once and that was just so chaotic. I personally thought Showdown was fine to do it. Showdown spawns can be a little bit weird on something like Hardpoint. For the most part, it's pretty easy to predict spawns. And that's what it comes down to in the end, is being able to map enemy movements and figure out where they're going to be spawning. It just stops you getting flanked. It stops, any surprises popping up. So if you're struggling, Domination's a pretty good one. Hardpoint, if you know the rotations for the map, is a pretty good one. Just anything where you can telegraph where the enemies are going to be. And then we have Platinum Challenge, which is 25 long shots. For this, I put on the longest barrel, put on a sight, and went into hardcore domination and hardpoint. I think I got it done in 2 matches. Dome is a really good one for SMGs. You can get long shots on the new or the remastered Showdown map, but I prefer hardcore, I always have. You can tune all your attachments to improve your recoil and your damage range as well, and it is just a case of lobby surfing a bit, map surfing a bit in hardcore. For the Polyatomic challenge and the Orion challenge, if you have it unlocked, it is 25 headshots. Shipment would have been really nice. Otherwise, I did most of this in the Showdown 24/7 playlist. It is just a case of being more accurate. If there is no shipment and you are struggling in like normal core playlists, I would recommend hardcore because it is, a shot or two to get someone in the head. Even at most ranges where this gun doesn't necessarily excel. And when that's done and dusted, you have Polyatomic, Orion, wherever you've got to in terms of unlocking that for the ISO 45. It's a pretty middle of the range SMG, nothing to write home about, but it's done and gold and out of the way. As always, any other questions, queries, concerns, put them down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. And I hope you have a good day and I'll see you next time. Bye.